Unknown No Name Podcast, aka your girlfriend, your mom, and your baby mom's favorite podcast. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I have a very, very special guest. If you like hip hop, if you like bars, if you like somebody who's going to have you rewinding the song over and over again and like Googling shit because you didn't even know what that was that you just heard and you're not sure if it's for real or not, you probably listening to this guy right here. I have been listening to this person for damn near 20 years now, and literally, I'll still hear songs of his, and I'll just get inspired. Like this guy's music is the type of music that like if you're running or working out, it's gonna make you, do about 10 more reps of whatever you're doing because it's gonna get you that hype. Ladies and gentlemen, today I have the one, the only G-Blakk on the podcast.
Thank you, bro. Well, I don't know if I'm the one and only. It's actually another G-Blakk, but he spelled it differently. But yeah, appreciate you, man.
Respect to the other G-Blakk, but we ain't talking about that nigga right now.
Nah.
We talking to this G-Blakk.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, man?
I'm great, man. I'm doing well. How about you?
Man, bro, I'm happy. I'm just happy you're here. I'm excited. Uh, you are you are definitely one of the artists around this area that people need to be listening to because you're not only giving us good music, something you can bump in the car, something you can listen to with whoever, but you giving us shit that you can like think about. You know what I'm saying? And there's not a lot of people who really putting a lot of thought into people thinking about their music.
Yeah.
Like some people want people to dance and what fuck, fight, whatever. Which I mean is cool. Ain't nothing wrong with none of that. But you just bring a little more to the table, and it's so like evident in listening to your music that you actually care. You know what I'm saying? Like you not sipping a double cup of lean and then going in the booth like, yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sure.
Like you really, doing your thing. So so tell me about where you from. Tell me about how you came up, all that good stuff. Family life.
Man, from the north side of Akron, Akron born and raised. Honestly, man, first of all, thank you for the gracious intro. And it kind of ties in because
You deserve it.
even as you describe how you describe the music that I make, music that makes you want to rewind and Google and find out, it ties into how I started making music because Ice Cube, I always credit him as being my first favorite rapper, but Nas is literally the reason I started rapping
Mm.
and Made You Look in particular. So what I always loved about Nas is that he was one of those artists that, like you say, like no matter if you knew what he was talking about or if you didn't, you always were able to learn something. And I was young when Nas was out, so I didn't really know a lot of the stuff he was talking about. So I did a lot of googling.
Learned a lot. I learned a lot from Nas as well.
Ask Jeeves and all that shit back then. Dated myself one time. But
Throwback, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, so no, I just went from rapping, doing freestyles with my boys back in around like '02 to man, I want to say me and you met actually in I don't want to say I want to say I know exactly. We met the summer of '06. Well, we didn't meet the summer of '06. We actually met the fall of '05. The very first time I met you, man, I was at Devin's house. Just stayed the night at Devin's house. You
Big
had just came
Falls.
back from the military, and we used to all just party over there all night and shit. We all crashed, and it was me, him, his girl, and I think one of our other homies just laid up in his room. And we all just spread out over the bed or whatever. And you came and started jumping on the bed like to wake him up or whatever. And I didn't know you at this point, so I'm just looking up like,
Who is this nigga?
yo, who the fuck is this nigga, bro? Like, everybody just kind of waking up, seeing you and shit. Like, do you hop off the bed and leave the room? And you come back in and do that shit again. I'm like, all right, fuck, we all get up.
It's me, nigga.
So anyway, so fast forward about 6 months, me and you lock in and we start recording me, your group Ken, as a matter of fact.
Shout out to Ken.
Shout out JJ and what was your homie's name?
Zion, fucking Castro. The nigga had a lot
Castro,
of names.
yeah, that's what it was back then for sure.
Castro.
But so we locked in then, and I only tell this part of the story because it's significant to me because up to that point, all of my friends, they always had cool like rap names or whatever, but I never had one. So that summer of '06, when we really locked in particular, it was you, my cousin Excursion, and my oldest daughter's mother in the basement. We were recording an album that I actually never released. You one of the only people that heard it before, Soul Food. I'm gonna tell you about my plans for that later. Hey, I'm gonna NFT that shit, bro. I still got it, and
Nigga,
it
that
sounds
shit is
immaculate to
Shit
this
is
day.
on detox level, nigga.
Bro, tell me about it. So So anyway, that summer as I was making that project, I was trying to come up with a name, and me, you, Excursion, and my daughter's mother was sitting down there, and I don't recall exactly how it came about, but I always credit y'all three with being the other three that helped me come up with the name because once we sat down and listened to the music, that's where G-Blakk was born from. So pardon me. But yeah, so from there,
That was gonna be one of my questions. Like, what made you transition your name from? It was just Brooks.
mhm.
It was just D Brooks before. What made you G-Blakk? And you saying that it was the making
Yeah,
of
just
Soul
the idea that in rap in particular, we always have alter egos, for lack of a better term, just something I
Yeah.
think artistically to give us the freedom to create with the freedom of not feeling like the weight of our lives and our names are attached to it. We kind of get to recreate ourselves in that way. So
You
that,
don't wanna. You don't wanna like. You don't want to be your government name rapping because everybody gonna look at you like, oh, that's that nigga Larry
well, I
rapping. You
mean,
know what
now
I
it
mean?
became cool, Kendrick Lamar and all that shit.
Facts.
But back then it wasn't so cool. So fast forward, that was the first project that I did solo, but again, I never released it. So that was again summer '06. Now I released my first project in February February 28th, 2010.
Mm.
And I only recall that date because a month later I got the cover of the Beacon, and they that review was always amazing and it sticks out to me. But so that was when I released my actual first project, Black Planet. Um,
Ladies and gentlemen, if you have not listened to Black Planet by G-Blakk, go. It's on all streaming platforms. It's on YouTube. Go listen to Black Planet. Keep going.
I know as you say that, bro, I actually got to because I'm considering taking all my other albums down, the first 9.
Really?
Yeah, like this new album is so good that it makes me want to take the other 9 down. Like I don't.
Even Black Mania?
That's my favorite. But yeah, that one too.
Yo, that is a fucking great album.
Yeah,
And Track Season is also a great
I
album.
think Black Until Proven Otherwise is my best album to this point, but Black and Mania is for sure my favorite. Like that shit was really fun to make. But
Yeah.
no, I don't know, man. This new music is so next level is really the best way I can describe it, bro. Like
What do you think that? Because man, bro, honestly, like when I listen to you, like, and I mean, I'm not trying to put you in a box with any other artist, but you remind me of Nas and Dead Prez, like melted into one person with a little bit of common in it. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, it's funny you say that because, as I say, Black Planet came out in 2010, which means I basically wrote it in '09.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in 2008, Nas' album Untitled came out. That was, I want to say like 3 or 4 tracks was produced by M1 and Dead Prez.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Did not know that
Untitled.
he was.
Yeah, it was a couple of them on there. Untitled,
I
Sly
didn't know
Fox
he
was
was a
another one.
producer.
Oh yeah, for sure. He produced a lot of their shit. But listening to that album and seeing like how underrated that Untitled album was made me realize that those type of messages needed to be brought to the forefront. So that's kind of where the concept, ironically, of Black Planet really even came from. So, but at this point, even as you say, like that box that people put me in, the air quote conscious rapper, like I never really liked that box. Well, number one, I don't like boxes, period. So I think that has something to do with it too. But just the idea that my art can be summarized and categorized is something
By 2 words.
Yeah, it's something that it's bothersome because I feel like it's really more than that. Like, especially due to the fact that the reason that I talk about the subject matter I talk about is partially because like I have a line on one of my new songs on the new album that says like something to the effect, I'm paraphrasing, that I'm only conscious because y'all not awake. And so it's kind of like I've always felt the need to like bring balance. But I feel like now as we get to a place to where the landscape has changed, I'm reevaluating the balance that I need to bring. So that being the case, like, a lot of people are gonna feel some type of way about the new music I'm making because I'm not making conscious raps no more, man. I don't. Yeah, it sounds crazy to even say, but
Well, I mean, no, man, because like a lot of your shit is conscious, but then I mean, you have songs like No Hope, you know what I'm saying, or relationship goals, you know what I'm saying, you definitely have a different style, like like you definitely switch it up. But you saying now you gonna switch it up and just kind of put the contents a little bit to the back seat.
Well, I've always defined my catalog because I have 9 albums, so I've always defined my catalog as like 2 different tiers or lanes, I guess is the better way to say it.
You want to hit this?
Yeah, the
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm passing G-Blakk the tobacco right now because here on the Unknown No Name podcast, we smoke tobacco, man.
yes, this is a flavored cigar.
Because because you need it and people are stressed. So continue.
So I've always kind of defined my albums being within 1 or 2 lanes. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get this to you while I'm telling this because I ain't gonna let it burn.
Talk your shit.
But I've always felt like my albums fall into 2 lanes. Now, the first will be categorized as more like the Black albums, the Black Planets, the Think Freeze, Black Until Proven Otherwise, and Black is a Beautiful Thing. The other ones being the track season albums, track season 1 through 4. So it's like the black lane, and then there's the track lane. So the black lane has always been more like, if I had to define it as being one of 2, it would be like my mind, as opposed to the track lane would be my heart. So it's kind of like I kind of have gotten put in a box for the stuff pertaining to the Black Planets and Black Until Proven Otherwise. Those 2 albums in particular, because those are the 2 albums where I've received the most success from. I'll say that. So, for instance, with Black Planet, again, getting the cover of the Beacon at that point was the biggest accolade I had up to that point. Well, I mean, that was the beginning, so it wasn't even up to that point.
Bro, whether you was on the Beacon or not, bro, that is one of the best fucking albums. Bro, if we broke down Akron rap, that shit is one of the best albums in Akron history, man.
I agree, bro, but
that's some shit. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you good.
That's some shit that they should give the kids when they in 11th grade. Like, yo, this is what the world is like, man. You think it's just running in the hall and whatever, because I mean, I loved it before, but then just revisiting it, to get ready for this interview, shit just give you chills. You know what I'm saying? Over and over. You know what I mean?
I think that's a part of the beauty of that album. My mom used to always tell me that when I get into a bigger position that I have to re-release. I'm cool. I have to re-release it just for the for a bigger audience to get a piece of it. But what I think a part of the beauty of that album is the fact that it does age so well. So at the point that it came out, when the guy did the article, Malcolm X Abram, he I believe the quote that he said was that this is not music that you catch being played on 107.9 blazing hip hop and R&B, and he was being facetious, but he was serious in the sense that this is not necessarily the popular music. And I think due to the fact that it came across a little bit, for lack of a better term, preachy, people weren't as receptive to it as, say fast forward, 8, 9, 10 years later, when we actually have seen these things that I was speaking about on that album hypothetically actually transpiring in real time. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay,
the same things that are relevant on that album are still relevant today.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Exactly. It's the same problem, same shit, same scenarios, that you was talking about. And it's just like, that's something that, that's when you start getting into the timeless lane. Mm-hmm. You're going to be able to have your grandkids listen to Black Planet, and they're going to be like, damn.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Damn, grandpa, I didn't really, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, so it's that's why, I say it's one of the best, albums in Akron history, man, because, niggas ain't giving it up like that, really. Yeah. There's not really a lot of niggas who is giving it up. Most of the niggas is in the video talking with a gun is the cell phone. And I mean, I get it, but you might shoot your head, you might shoot your ear off. And I mean, so, it's in a city with so much of one thing, it's nice to hear another thing. And it be good. Because, bro, that first song on Black Planet with you and John Q, bro, that is some shit that you can bump that shit in the whip at the barbecue.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? And, niggas are really actually, gravitate to it because they got some bounce to it and y'all talking y'all shit.
I think that was one of the things I was able to better do with Black Until Proven Otherwise, because that was kind of meant to be like a spiritual sequel to Black Planet. And because I mean, I'm not gonna say quiet as kept, but I always thought that it was apparent. But in talking to my mom a few months before she passed, she let me know that she wasn't aware of it, and she was like my biggest fan. So I don't know if it actually came across in the music, but Black Planet actually is in chronological order. It goes from the Willie Lynch letter, whether you believe it's an actual letter or whatever the case may be, but it goes from the Willie Lynch letter up until the Civil Rights Movement, because it ends with "Follow Me," and that's kind of like the Martin Luther King, top of the mountaintop thing.
Yeah.
And Black Until Proven Otherwise basically picks up from the '60s, until the current time. And
Yeah, because that sorry to cut you off.
No,
Because that first clip, that first like audio clip, uh, that's from I'm Not Your Negro, right?
which album?
Black Until Proven Otherwise.
Um, what's the intro on it? I'm sorry, man. Too many albums.
Right, bro. You got so much, but it's the guy, and he's talking, and and he's like, when you see me, like you don't see me, like you see like I think he says like you see like your
Oh,
fears and you, or
yeah, that's that James Baldwin. I don't know why I was
the French guy, right? Any French or not from America?
He's from America. He moved to Paris because
Oh,
during the Civil Rights era he got tired of dealing with that shit, so he
yeah,
just said fuck this shit and left. But
yeah, yeah, man. So so I mean, like they definitely like tie in together, and I didn't even really think about that until like just right now,
like I said,
because
I didn't
the
realize
last
that it didn't come
song,
across like that. But
you know what I mean? Because like the last song, you said it was on some Martin Luther King show on Black Planet, and then fast forward, you go to the first song of, Black Until Proven Otherwise, and you hear like that same like really like clouded type of audio from
even
and
down
you
to
can
peep this.
tell.
So the song about Martin Luther King on Black Planet was "Who Am I." The intro on Black Until Proven Otherwise is "Who
Who
Are
are
We."
we? Yeah,
So it's kind of like even me, because it's about our plight, but it's also about my role in the plight too. So it's double layered in that sense. So um, on the first album, I was really trying to figure out like what my role in the bigger scheme of things was, and the second album is kind of like I realized my role is to play a role within the whole. And I actually, even going to back to what I was saying about not doing any more conscious raps, I actually have a follow up album to Black Until Proven Otherwise called Black Flag, which was originally the sequel to Black Planet, and it's like basically like the end of the trilogy. But I'm not releasing that album, but so yeah,
damn.
that shit is fire. I'll play you some of the when we get off here.
I
I'll
was
play you
gonna
some of the
say,
shit, bro.
yeah, bro. I gotta be laced with that.
It's
Okay,
fire.
so I'm just kind of going, going to go like all over the place with my questions. What makes you spell your name the way that you do?
So when we were discussing it, so even just to get back to the root of the name, G-Blakk stands for Geronimo Black. Geronimo Black is a play off of Geronimo Pratt, who was the Minister of Defense for the Black Panthers and also Tupac's godfather. And as we were discussing it in my basement in '06, one of the things that, because as I said, it was me, you, and my cousin, and my daughter's mother. Just for clarification, my first daughter's mother is white. So
She is a white lady.
yes,
She was hella white.
she is of the Caucasoid variety.
The Caucasoid. Shout out to you though, girl. Do your thing.
I wouldn't say it shout out, but
sorry.
yeah, no. Either way,
I'll cut that part out.
right. So yeah, as we were sitting there and kind of like throwing ideas out based off the music, trying to decide, what the best name would be, because I've always been one of how does the saying go? Would a rose by any other name smell as sweet? And so it's like I've always found like the name to be a powerful thing, as they say, first impressions, and the first impression of somebody
Exactly.
as an artist or is going to be the name, because that's what I have to determine
Exactly.
your identity by at that point. But so as we were talking about it, I was at that point really obsessed and getting really heavy into the idea of, uh, for lack of a better term, Black history. And my mom was always real into that stuff growing up, so I always knew the information, but I was discovering it at that point at 19 for myself.
Yeah.
And
because you could kind of like start to understand more
a little bit different.
what what is really going on. Start to open your eyes.
Yeah, and so I never really knew growing up that the Black Panthers got their name from the fact that the Black Panther is a defensive animal, meaning that it only attacks when attacked. And so that kind of made me reshape my idea of the Black Panthers as an organization. Because again, even though my mom was like a proponent of civil rights and all of that, and she, educated us, I kind of, whether it was unknowingly or not, in terms of, especially when it came to the Black Panthers, I kind of believe like the public sentiment that they were this, not to say dangerous group, but
I was about to say the same thing.
I kind of believed the narrative until I learned that fact, and it made me dig in a little bit deeper.
You watch Forrest Gump and you see the fucking crazy motherfucker, and you like, damn, these niggas is crazy. But then, like you like realize that, just like you said, like they only attacked when attacked.
Then you learn about the free food programs, all the different things they were doing for the kids, and it's like in learning that, I just felt like I wanted to pay homage to the Black Panthers, and that was one of the things we spoke about. So then we got to, again, Geronimo Pratt being the Minister of Defense. So I kind of felt like, in a way, the best way to pay homage to that fact that the Black Panthers were a defensive entity, and this person representing, being the Minister of Defense, I kind of wanted to play with his name, so I flipped it from Geronimo Pratt to Geronimo Black.
Yeah.
But I wanted to differentiate between Black as the color, slash, again, air quotes, race, and the idea or concept of other, and that's kind of where the, 2Ks and OC came
from. Okay, I like that. So when did you know that you wanted to be a rapper? Like, was it an exact moment? Was it like a song?
It literally an exact moment. I've always been. My best friend tells me that I believe myself to be an introvert. He believes me to be an extrovert.
I am an introvert for real.
But what I've noticed about myself is that I'm an introvert with extrovert tendencies. So I can be extroverted, but a lot of that comes from the fact that I come from...
Yeah, because we've been out a lot.
Yeah, I come from doing like stage plays and stuff. So it's like it's easy for me to put on a show. Like,
when was you doing the stage plays?
High school, man. Every year. That was my shit, bro.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I started that shit every year, bro.
What?
That's why I love performing. Man.
Ladies and gentlemen, exclusive.
Oh, yeah, bro.
G-Blakk is a freaking theater actor.
Bro, I still got all my scripts. All that shit.
What was your favorite role?
Probably my senior year, we did, what was the name of that play? It was Squad Room. It was about
Squad Room.
It was about these cops. I was a detective. I forget what the case was, but it was the funnest one because by senior year, I was able to get my homies to realize that being in the play wasn't whack.
I was just finna,
and it was low key. I was gonna say the B word, but it was a lot of females. So all my homies was in that play. So that one was dope because it was me and my homies in senior year and shit.
That's funny because, like, it's so crazy because being on the north side at North High School, like, like that's just not where you think you're going to see some niggas in the play.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like that, dude, that's so crazy.
Yeah, I was able to turn that shit out, bro. That was super dope. But
that's crazy.
Damn, how did we even get on that, bro?
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
fucking, my mind just right, man. My mind just be going, and I just
want to make sure I answered your question though, because
yes.
Okay,
yes,
cool.
You did. Basically, wait, did you answer my question?
What was the question?
When did you? when did you know that you wanted to rap? Like, what was the specific moment? Man, the tobacco is nice, and sometimes it makes you feel all right. You know what I mean?
This is water in my cup.
Water.
Actually, water.
Let's toast the H2O, brother.
Yes.
Thank you.
Stay hydrated.
Hydrated.
So it was 2002. I'd say somewhere around August or September, whenever Nas Made You Look drop. Because as soon as I heard that shotgun pump go off and that glass shatter, I knew, like, I want to do that. Whatever the fuck is about that. And that beat drop.
Crazy, bro.
So, yeah, that was the very first song that made me realize, like, yo, I want to give somebody that feeling I just got when I heard that shit. Like, that was the one. Nas Made You Look for sure.
Well, bro, you definitely, like, succeeded because you have given me that feeling, like, numerous times. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gave me that feeling on the way from work, on the way home from work because I was listening to your shit, trying to get in the zone for this. And, nigga, goosebumps a few times.
I think the only one that I feel like I was able to get it on was on the most recent album, Black Man in Babylon. That reminded me of Made You Look. So that was the first time I felt like, all right, got that. I could check that off now.
Yeah. So that's when you wanted to rap. How do you come up, like, So like when you make albums, do you just okay, I'm in the vault, I have a bunch of songs, pick and choose, pick and choose, pick and choose, or do you do every album like, kind of like it was when we were around for Black Planet? Do you actually sit down and be like, yo, this is the concept of the album and these are the way the songs are gonna go, or do you just
Yeah, I've
pick?
never been one of those people who can just make songs and put together an album. I kind of don't even understand that. Being that when I work, I create like an architect is the best way I can put it. So I have to have like a solid foundation. I have to have my blueprints first of all, because form follows function. How can I know what I'm building if I don't know what I'm building? So
Hmm.
no, I always start with the concept. Typically, the concept evolves into, or sometimes it actually even comes from a title. Once I get the title, I may start searching for beats, but typically I have like an outline or idea of the structure, how I want it to flow. I
Yeah.
find the beats and the songs to go from there. But whenever I hear a song, like whenever I hear a beat, the first thing I do automatically is come up with the title.
Okay.
Like off top, the very first thing is the title.
Because you listen to some people and they say that that's the last thing that they,
Right. I
you know what
don't.
I'm
I mean,
saying?
I don't get that, because the very next thing is, and I always have to tell this because I feel like it's kind of a cheat code. But when I hear the music, like the words are already there. Like I just have to like decipher them. If that's the best way I can put it. Like I can hear the words, but I just got to like focus and tune in and just write them. And
Like you hear it and you automatically know what you're going to talk about, and then
no, it's almost like when I hear it, like I said, the first thing I come up with is a title, because when I hear the song, I know what it's called. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
that's that.
Oh, okay,
And so
okay.
then it's like, okay, I just gotta like listen. I have to like listen through the noise, and that's not really what I mean, but that's the best way I can put it. Like I just have to hone in and focus and see like what the music is saying, and like almost like the music is calling for a particular recipe, and you just gotta be able to like tweak it, and it's kind of like a Rubik's cube. You just gotta like lock it in, and that's like the micro of it, and the album is like the macro. Each
Mm.
song has to go in, to this Rubik's cube, and until you get each side the way you want it to be.
Okay. Uh, Tell me about the song "No Hope" because the first time that I listened to "No Hope," uh, parentheses could have been Bron. Uh, Dude, the first time I heard that song, I was like, "Bro, we need to go to LeBron's house and wake him up. Nick, listen to this shit. Like this should be your theme music, bro.
Yeah.
Like this shit, like and dude, both of y'all. See, I'm getting the fucking goosebumps
I
right
got
now.
mad
Just like
connects to
think about
LeBron, and I
that,
don't know why I never got that song to him, bro.
bro. It ain't too late, nigga.
No, it's
Cause
not.
that motherfucker, man, bro. LeBron James, if you're watching the podcast, hit us up in the comments and we'll get you and G-Blakk connected because this needs to be your theme music,
Like
bro.
legit, bro. Shion is my first cousin.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's like
I wonder who's gonna play you in the movie
right.
when she.
Well, we not that close, so I'm definitely not gonna be in the movie. But that's part of the problem. Is like I always wanted to utilize that channel to get things to Brian, but it's like we don't have a close relationship, so I don't want him to feel like I'm trying to use him to get to Brian. But it's just like
Yeah,
I've always known that outlet was available, but and I mean we real cool or whatever. We talk every now and again. He hit me up, and
that's what's
when he
up.
hear the music and let me know he see me and all that. So
Shout out to Shion Cotton. He got some fire music itself.
for sure. So it's not even like it would be like a stretch, for me to reach out to him. But you know me, man. I've always just kind of been a person that not to say I wanted to get it on my own and prove that I can do it, but I don't want people to feel like I'm using them.
Exactly,
So
exactly. I'm the same way, bro. Like I'm the
I'd
same
rather
way.
take the hard way than
Yeah,
try to
exactly.
utilize that. But so that song in particular came about. I was actually working on the soundtrack. That was going to be album number 3. It ended up being album number 7 because it took me 10 years to make it, and I made albums in between there.
That's how you know it's great. Take you so long to make that shit, man.
But so I was always looking, with it being the soundtrack, music from and inspired by life. I always knew that I wanted it to tell the story of my life, and I recognized that in telling the story of my life, you can
Does this
speak
smoke
to.
bother you?
No, not at all, bro.
Okay, cool.
Um, you can attest to the fact that me and Nardi go back, especially on the music side. So I always wanted to find a song on that album that felt like a song me and him would do. So, like I said, I start with the title for the song, and I had, not to say different songs that were called No Hope Could Have Been Brown, but I had different iterations of what that song could have been because I wrote that song specifically to make a song for Nardi to get on, and this was the one that when I played it for him, he fucked with it.
Because Nardi a hooper anyway, so I know he heard your shit.
Yeah.
Oh, when he jumping through the air, you was way flying.
Man,
bro, every time I hear that part, like, I'm like, bro,
yeah.
Damn, I want to, like, do 10 push-ups right now, nigga. Like,
Yeah.
bro, I love that song, man.
As soon as that shit dropped, my dude tapped in like, bro, I ain't gonna charge you, but nigga, you just blew my speaker with this track, bro. But every so often he'll hit me back up and be like, bro, I ain't never forget, man. You blew my speakers with that track.
I'm sure you blew a lot of speakers, man, because, bro, that song is so crazy. And then Nardi, the line of his that
the
just
playoffs. I already know, bro.
Bro, ladies and gentlemen, the line from Nardi Cool on No Hope is man, you say it because you're gonna do it more justice.
Say that shit? Damn, I can't even call the exact line.
Bro, that shit is fuck. If you don't wait, we can have the best record in the regular season. If you don't show up in the playoffs, why the fuck I need you?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, there we go.
Crunch it's a cold, time. Cold work, man.
Crunch time.
That's why I don't trust no bitch, no nigga, neither,
Woo.
man.
But I knew the only way to really get that out of him, you just got to find that right track. That song that speaks to something that he knows, being the sport, but also something that he feels, being that emotion. And so
that shit, man. Bro,
I think that's one of my greatest skill sets for real.
Both of y'all verses on that
sequencing in terms of like putting like what song goes behind this song, but also beat selection also, but finding the right features, because I feel like a lot of times people overlook the fact that it's not about putting two dope artists on a song together. Like, yeah, it can be dope, but sometimes it might be whack, but it's really about doing service to the song. So even when I look for a feature outside of a situation where I'm trying to craft a song around the feature, like that case, but most times it's just a matter of, I have this song, who can I find that can bring something to this song? Not even something. Who can bring the thing that this song needs that I haven't brought to it or can't bring to it, and fill in that void? And that may not be, the best artist. It may just be the person who fits the role. And I think people have a hard time distinguishing because they always looking to try to get the look, and so they're not really servicing the art.
Man, bro, you guys definitely, like, everything just, like, synced together. You know what I'm saying? Like, that song, to me, like, just, like, listening to it and, like, driving around the city at night and shit, bro, like, that song, to me, like, I see both of y'all shooting hoops, like, at night under the light, under the city lights, and y'all just talking about, man, bro, Brown, bro, like, fucking, when he jumping through the air, you swear he flying. When it, in the number, when the number one pick in the 06 draft, man, was a kid from the city, we was inspired, bro.
That's why we had to do that visual the way we did it, man, because it was one of those that the song just, it told you what the visual was. We didn't even have to think of the concept for real. Just, and the irony of it is that the concept that we had the day we shot it went to shit. So nothing happened the way it was supposed to happen, but it turned out to be the best scenario possible, because even at the end with the fireworks, it just so happened that we were running behind schedule to get to that particular location, and we didn't even really know how the shot was going to go, but I always just knew I wanted to get a shot. It was that parking garage down there overlooking Lot 3. And as we were shooting or getting out the car to shoot, they were the Arrows at that time. It's the fucking Rubber Ducks now.
The Rubber Ducks. Shout out to the Rubber Ducks.
They were playing a game on a Friday night, and, they do the fireworks after the fact. As he was unloading the camera, he's like, shoot, let me get the fireworks. And so that's what we used for the end of the video. And like I said, shit just worked out, man. Serendipity.
Dang, man, that's crazy, bro. Perfect video, perfect verses, man. Perfect song. That song is awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have not heard No Hope by G-Blakk and Nardi Cool, please go listen to that song right now. You will understand why we are both sitting here with goosebumps right now. Because I got them on my leg, man.
That's a good one.
And my freaking elbow, bro.
I don't really... I'm not a narcissist, so I don't really listen to my own music a lot once I put it out. But when I do go back, that's one of the ones I definitely go back to. I fuck with that one.
Okay, let's go back actually right now and talk to me about Get Money, because like, one of the things that was going on with you.
That's a throwback. All right. Yes.
one of the things about you, like when me and this man first met, him and his group Get Money was in a heated lyrical battle with a fellow high schooler at North High School, Akron, Ohio. And ladies and gentlemen, the shit was heating up. Y'all was letting me listen to his shit. His shit was whack. And then it was like Mace going against the Locks. Because all three of y'all was like obliterating this dude. And he just kept coming back. And it was just like, it was just crazy. And that was how that was one of the first interactions that me and you had. If you remember, they were having a party
You
on
and
Big
Hayes battled
Falls.
like 3 times.
Yeah, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And it was just like, after that, I realized that you guys were in a group together. And then I heard Nardi, and then, Nardi Cool. Shout out, man. Shout out to Nardi Cool, by the way.
Sure.
If you listening, man, shout out, brother. So like, how did you guys come together, and how did y'all, how did y'all come up with the name, and how did you get into that lyrical battle?
So the original group was me, Nardi, and Tate. And senior year in high school, actually like 2 weeks before we graduated, Tate moved away. And we always felt like it would be a dishonor to the group to just add another member. So we just decided to drop the KOBK and formed a new group with Hayes. And that was just one of our friends from the neighborhood. And KOBK stood for Killer Be Killed. It was a name I came up with just based on, I don't even remember. We was like 14 or some shit, but it was just a mentality. And so trying to figure out like how to adjust that mentality to adulthood, because at this point, we 18, about to be 19. We're grown men now, or we're gearing up to become grown men, and we're figuring out, different things in terms of what we want to do in life, and obviously money being one of those things that's sought after a material aspect of the world. I wanted to break it down into, because I've always been like the intro for Black Planet, they say I'm too deep. I've always been like a deeper than surface level thinker, so I've always wanted to have multiple layers. So outside of the aspect of actually getting money, it was kind of like, what does money represent? The idea of money, the better
Exactly.
things in life, all the worries and issues and problems, and being at ease because I have this thing. So the mentality was always just to strive to be better. Get money is just a mentality. So that's where the name came from. And like I said, Hayes was just a guy from the neighborhood that we knew, and he was super fucking dope. Now,
Super fucking dope.
man, his punchlines was crazy, bro. Like he used to have a folder. Like he would not write, but he used to have a folder, and it was just a folder. He would just write punchlines on a folder,
That's
just random ass
crazy.
punchlines, and then just like. And I would never like read nobody's notebooks or whatever, but I always noticed that he has this folder, but he don't write.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, bro, what the fuck is this folder? So I read it one day, just looking at it, and I noticed, like, these are just the random punchlines, and he'll just like plug and play these punchlines every so often. So anyway,
Homie, I'm so hot, I gotta hold my cake with an oven mitt. Man,
bro,
stop fucking playing,
bro, yeah, okay,
Bro,
okay,
that's one of my like favorite like lines of all time. Like straight up, like I heard that shit, and it's just like, damn.
yeah. He used to. The crazy part is, I mean, I haven't talked to him. Well, I haven't seen him in a few years. He locked up, Free Hayes, but
Free Hayes, man, one of the best to ever do it in these Akron fucking streets.
once he come home, man, I definitely gotta link up with him and see if he still got that fire, man. Because bro, just off the top, just
He was one of the first people that I ever seen that didn't write anything down. Like you heard about it to Jay-Z and all, all that stuff, but like he was the first person that I ever saw that just went in there and was like, boom.
I used to always try to get him to write, because my thing was that if you doing this off the top, bro, imagine if you stopped and put some time into it, and not even necessarily not to say that he didn't put time into. Well, I mean, it's off the top. You didn't put no time into it.
He
but
didn't have no time. He was
no,
out,
no,
you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
it was off the top. But I was like, bro, imagine if you sat and crafted an idea that you got. What would that sound like? So I kind of, maybe now that we're a little bit older, I can get him to sit down and try that when he come home. But that's always the goal, man. I just always just want to create with my guys, man, and just have fun and be able to do it at a high level, because that's what we always dreamt of doing.
I feel like you and Hayes are, are like kind of like the guards of the team, and y'all, what I'm saying, like more like fast paced, like I mean not like fast rapping, but just like y'all was like bars, 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 and like Nardi was like, yo, I'm just cool, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I'm that, I'm that like 3 guard that can kind of play the 4, and I'm just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, killing y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it was, it was like, bro, like, listening to them songs that y'all used to do, it was, like I said, it was like the Locks. It was like 3 niggas who sounded different, but they sounded in tune with each other, and you could tell that they really like fuck with each other. You know what I'm saying? Just strictly from the way that the music sounds.
Yeah, that was always one of the things that I strive to bring to the table, because I think that even going back to what I was saying about like sequencing and stuff like that, people don't realize how much one thing or one aspect of the song or the music connects to another aspect is significant. It's not necessarily just about, oh, that part was dope, because then you'll be in a situation where people be like, oh, that part was dope,
Yeah.
and then turn that shit because they don't want to hear the rest. So you always got to try to find the best elements, the best ways to bring the best aspects of each other out. Like Nardi, for instance, he was always like the best at writing the hooks. So a lot of our hooks back then, either he performed or he wrote, because that was just his skill set.
Immaculate, man.
It's like me. I was always always had the ear. So like a lot of the beats, I picked or whatever. And so we just always found the best ways to complement each other. And I think being friends before making the music always helped to accentuate that, which is another reason why even working on this album, the new album soundtrack volume 2, like I'm bringing like a lot of my guys that I used to work with back then back into the fold, because
I love
feel
hearing
like,
you and Nardi together,
bro.
I love it, bro.
So
like, why have you guys not done an album together? Well, I mean, y'all, get to get money stuff, but
that's a Nardi question. That's not a me question. That could happen at any point.
Nardi, cool. We need you to tap in with the show, brother, because we got questions and we need answers. Nope.
Yeah, man.
We need to know why there's not a Nardi Cool and G-Blakk album, bro. Like, because I swear, man, like every time I hear you guys on the song together, it's like it just feel like, man, that was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Nardi said one of the funniest things that I've ever heard in my life before. We was all in the studio smoking some tobacco, chilling, and y'all had went and got, or him and Hayes, I went and got some rallies, and they came back, and Nardi was eating his burger, and this nigga ate the burger, and he was looking at his hand, and he was like, man, that shit was so good, I wish I could rewind time and eat it again. You need to give me that tobacco, sir. You've had enough.
Sounds like a really good burger.
That was one of the funniest things that I have ever heard in my freaking life, man. That was one of the funniest things.
Yeah, that's Nardi, man.
All right, so let's go back to the present album, Black Until Proven Otherwise. Talk to me about Godspeed, because like on the intro of Godspeed, like you say, I wasn't sure if I was gonna talk about this, and then like it took me a while to get this out or whatever, and then you talk about the passing of your mother. Like like what made you just bring that out when you?
Well, so the bigger theme of that song, and it's crazy, nobody ever asked me about that song, so I never really get to expound upon it. And
Well, because I knew your mom, and your mom was cool as fuck, and she was always, what I'm saying, she was always around, and she was at shows, and she was your biggest fan, and that was apparent, and I was always so jealous, because like I'm not saying that my mom didn't like support what I did or whatever, but like you know I was lightweight afraid to tell my mom and my family, like, yo, I'm trying to do this, can y'all come to the show, just because I thought they'd be like, nigga, go get a job. So it was always like refreshing to just see your mom in there rapping everybody's verse in the studio, like Nardi, I like that one song that you did with the and then your little sister was like rapping the song too, bro. That shit was just so like, bro, that shit was awesome to see. And rest in peace, Miss Kim. She was cool as hell. She was she was definitely a cool parent, and she was your biggest fan. And I just want to say that she was awesome.
That's a fact. That song comes from an experience that I had in November of 2012. I'm really good with dates and remembering stuff.
I see that. Yeah, because you fit us with a lot of dates.
Yeah, but this one sticks out even more so because it was a really significant event that occurred in my life. I was at work. I worked the third shift. Like I said in the song, working the bullshit job. My manager was fucking the.
That song is so relatable,
Yeah,
man.
I hated. I'm not gonna say I hated her, but she hated me for sure.
Nigga, I was trying to take long on my break too.
So it's like this corridor walking back from my break, and my back I had like really bad lower back problems at this point, and I was working doing rotational molding, I think it was at that point, extrusion mold. I forget which one it was, but so I worked this like factory gig. So I'm walking back, and as I cross the threshold from the break room corridor going back onto the floor, I remember having this thought, and I specifically said, God, because I'm like, just praying as I'm walking or whatever, and I said, God, I'm in so much pain right now. I would rather be dead. And literally at that moment, I took a step across the threshold, and I felt coming from the top of my head like a ring, like wash all the way down my body, just this feeling of like peace and serenity. And
Was you smoking tobacco?
no, I was at work.
Oh.
I was at work, and I had been there like half the shift. I worked 7P to 7A. It was
Yeesh, that sounds
2:54. No, I'm sorry. I went on break at 2:54. I was coming back from break at no. Let me rewind it. I went on break at 2:40. I was coming back from break at 2:54 because it was a 15-minute break, so I'm gonna walk back. And 2:54 until I want to say it was about 5:30. That all right. So I had that thought. The feeling of serenity washed over me. 2:54, 5:30. I come back to, and it's 5:30. Now, at this point, I'm on the machine. I'm working. So I had been at my station working for the past 3 hours or whatever.
But you just snapped back into like.
Right. Now let me tell you what I snapped back from, because as soon as I said that and I felt that feeling, the best way I can describe it is like everything went black. And I kept hearing, well, first of all, let me ask you, when you think, do you think in your own voice?
Yeah.
Right. I think everybody does, but I wouldn't know. But
yeah, I do.
Right. So, but as you have your thoughts, I don't know if you've ever had this thought. This is some extremely strong tobacco thoughts. But like, have you ever had a thought about like where your thoughts come from? Because like, have you ever had a thought that you like, not to say don't agree with, but like you don't want to think that? Those are the points when I realized like, wait, I didn't come up with that. Like that was, so that made me realize that there's a disconnect between me and the place of origin of my thoughts. But still, even in that, I can still recognize that I don't want to think that, or I don't agree with that, but I still know that it comes from a place within me. So at this moment, I start having these thoughts, and I realize like that's coming from a different place. Like that's not even where my thoughts come from, but it's still my voice.
Yeah.
And I was noticing it kept repeating. In the beginning, God said, "Let there be light." And I'm just like, man, like why the fuck is it keep saying the same thing over and over? Because at first, I'm realizing these are my thoughts. Once I locked in on that, it kept saying, "Let there be light," or in the beginning, God said, "Let there be light." So after, I forget how many times, bro. Eventually, I'm just like, I just ask it. I'm like, why are you saying that? And well, wait, first of all, let me think about how it even went. 'Cause I gotta refresh my memory. It's been a while.
Refresh it.
I'm asking it like, why are you saying that? And at that point, it changes and starts saying something else. It's I don't exactly remember what it was saying at this point, but I recognized in the moment that it was trying to emphasize repetition because they just kept repeating it. So then I'm like, I go back to the very first thing. I'm like, well, why did God have to say, "Let there be light"? It's just God in the beginning. Who is he talking to? Like, what is he? And so that's when it began to explain to me that the reason God had to say, "Let there be light," is because in order for things to manifest, we live in a vibrational frequency. So you have to speak in order to affect the frequency. So even God has to speak in order to, because everything
speak into existence.
Exactly, everything is just motion. The only reason that a solid is more dense than a liquid is because the molecules are packed tighter together. All these different things, and they move in slower and all, whatever the case may be. So it's all about motion. So then, as it's explained in that, I was super heavy in the aliens at this point, and that was like mind blowing. Like because after that, I asked it like, "Who are you?" or "What are you?" Because you're not me.
Yeah.
And it referred to itself as the collective consciousness. And that stuck out to me because I had never heard that phrase before. I didn't know what the fuck that really meant, but in the moment, it reconciled the question. So I kind of felt like, even though me right now, I don't know what that means, in that moment, I felt like that was, oh, okay. I don't know what the collective consciousness actually mean. I mean, it went on to explain it, but so
Damn.
again, I was really heavy into aliens at that point. So the very next question I asked this shit was, are aliens real? And
what did it say?
Right? That's none of your concern. And so for me, I took that as, that's not a no. It's just not my concern. All right, so aliens real. I just don't gotta be worried about these niggas. So I don't do research on aliens no more because God told me not to, and I got my response. So
this nigga talking to God, y'all.
You know I mean?
That's
so,
some real shit.
So then goes on to explain to me honestly everything, bro, for real. I try not to get too deep into it because a lot of it when I really sit and break it down and explain it, it can be perceived a particular way. But
it's like some like cosmic level shit.
Just he told me what my role is in the world, exactly what I'm responsible for, without giving me the exact definition of what he meant. And I'll get into that aspect of it because I'm trying not to get into the particulars because it's hard to speak to without
like delving into it.
No, it's not even that so much. It's just something that he said. If I were to repeat it as me, it sounds arrogant. So I don't like speaking those things because like I don't want to. It kind of devalues the story because it's like, oh, this nigga just trying to, and it ain't that. It's just it's what he said. You know what I mean, so.
Well, I believe you, but there are definitely gonna be some niggas that are like, look at this nigga.
Yeah, you know I mean, so he told me that I was responsible for at the time because again I have to like it's kind of like a dream when you wake up from it. You kind of like grab it before it leave or whatever. So I have to go back to it a lot of times. And as I was meditating on it back then, I thought that initially he had said I was responsible for the 13th book. But I think what he actually said was that I was responsible for book 13. Now, I don't know what the difference even is. I don't know what that actually even means. Because again, he didn't tell me exactly what that means. But he was specific in saying that that's what I'm responsible for. So for years, I took time to try to like find the first 12 and try to see like what other books are there, and I started trying to see if maybe it was an actual book, and then I started really honing in on what he was actually trying to get to in the whole bigger scheme. And I say he for lack of a better term, but the whole bigger scheme of it was just the power of words and the ability to influence and literally change and even create, in his case, the world via words. And so at that point, I started to really realize, well, man, maybe the book is just a metaphor or not literally a book, and it's somehow connected to the music. So that's kind of when I start pouring more purpose into the music. So that's where you get a song like Godspeed, where I start the intro and saying that I've known that I was supposed to do
that
this.
was my question. I forgot what my question was.
No, I was tying it.
Okay,
Yeah, so it's like I knew that I was supposed to do this, but I didn't know exactly what this was or what it was. So that's what I'm, referring to when I say like but I didn't feel comfortable doing it. And so then you get into the song, and it's like, and it's weird to me because I always felt like when I made that song or when I released that song, it was just gonna break the world. It was gonna break the internet. The sky is gonna crack open. They gonna get it. Nah, they don't. But it's cool because I realized I realized in my plight, I don't make music for the now. So even how we talking about Black Planet, and I said that it's even more relevant now. I realized that about my music is that a lot of the things are things that were implanted in me, ideas in order for me to execute, but they aren't necessarily for me to receive the acclaim. And so I have to separate. And as an artist, that's difficult because it's like,
so you the messenger. You know what I mean?
Right.
You give the end shit, bro. Like you're like that comes across. So it's so crazy that you even saying that because that shit comes across in your music. You know what I'm saying? Like you are teaching. You know what I mean? Like you done definitely taught me shit just from listening to the music because I didn't know who the fuck Willie Lynch was until I heard Willie Lynch.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie.
You told me about him right before you let me listen to the song, and I was like, that's where that shit came from? I had no idea
when I heard that shit, bro. Because it was like I was like 18 when I first came across that piece of information. And again, I'm not somebody who wasn't educated on those things. So for me to come across that piece of information that far in the game, at that point for me, I just kind of feel like, yo, this is ridiculous. And the fact that everybody don't know, because I was telling everybody, like, shit, bro, you got a nigga, you know who Willie Lynch is? And as I'm saying, like, nobody knows. I'm like, all right, that's
None of us,
it gotta
bro.
be a song. It gotta
Bro,
be.
none of us knew, bro. None of us knew.
No.
And that is literally like, like a song that if you got a kid and they like just now starting to, you know, we both got black sons.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And when they start getting into the space where, where like they are starting to realize racism and stuff, because my son at one point, like he was like, "What's slaves?" He seen some Amish people and they was all getting out of a van, looked like they was like corral with each, just like kind of connected. And he was like, "Are those slaves?" I was like, "No," you know what I'm saying? So, like, it's like that song, like, you can let a kid listen to that song and they'll be like, that shit will make them like that will open up the door for them to start listening to other shit. And then like the interlude on um one of your albums, it was Malcolm X talking about the house nigga and
Yeah.
the field nigga and shit. And it's like, bro, like there are some people who probably don't know shit about that shit and they like, wait, is that like for real? You know what I mean? Like that's why it's so dope that you like put that in the music. Because okay, let's say a brother is listening to your music and he got a white girl with him. Because I mean, I done fuck with some white girls or whatever, whatever. That's some shit that make her be like, what? What is that like for, you know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
in dating white women, I have been in that situation where y'all hear something or see something and they're like, watch a movie and like, oh yeah, that's a true story, like Fruitvale Station or some shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was a true story. What?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, bitch, it's shit is real out here. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's one of the things that I love about your music, bro, is like, you know, Future says he puts feeling into his music and that's cool, but it's like bitches massaging me, sipping on some lean. Like, like that's cool that that's what your inspiration brings you to, but it's nice to have somebody's inspiration bring them to what you bring to us, which is knowledge and just dope ass songs. You know what I'm saying? Dope ass beats, because Relationship Goals is one of my favorite songs of yours. And I was, luckily in there when you made it. And that is definitely like that sounds like every like torrid love affair that I was in when I was younger. You know what I'm saying? So, but that brings me to my next question. What is your least favorite song that you have ever made?
Hmm. Well, that I've ever made, it wouldn't be one of the ones that got released. So just to speak to,
All right, so just out of all of your actual albums, what is the song that you listen to and you like, I should have tweaked this, I should have did that?
uh, all right, well that's gonna be the one we was talking about off air. The outro for Black Until Proven Otherwise,
Mm.
the Found Tribe. I love that beat. I even love the words. I don't like the delivery. I don't like the fact that typically, like when I'm completing an album, I work up until the deadline, um, and that happened to be the last song that I recorded and wrote for that album. So there were some things that I wish I would have tweaked. I wish I had a little bit more time with it. If I would have had even probably like 2 more days with it, I probably wouldn't feel the way I do about it. But that's part of the game. You let me learn. But yeah, Found Tribe is for sure. It's like
Yeah.
nails on the chalkboard.
Damn.
And it's crazy because the bars is so hard and that beat slap. But I just maybe
It
I'll go back and,
does.
and re-record it. I don't
That's
know.
definitely not a song that I thought that you would have said, you know what I'm saying, that
Everybody
about.
say that when I tell them that. It's
Because
a lot of people's
that
favorite,
shit's
honestly.
hard.
Yeah,
Like,
but
you know. Um, no, man, Godspeed is definitely my favorite off of Black and Two Proven Otherwise. So can you tell everybody like what you got, because ladies and gentlemen, y'all already have a lot of food from this man because this nigga be giving niggas food, bro. Y'all got 9 platters of food already that you can go and listen to on all streaming titles. G-Blakk, where you just did that, if you watch my last interview, the guy did like this, and I made the shit pop up because I'm kind of learning this editing
All
shit.
right,
So
okay.
I'm gonna make that shit pop
Hell
up, bro.
yeah.
I'm gonna just put all streaming platforms or whatever.
Yes, sir.
But you know, even though he has all this awesome ish, this man is a workaholic. He got a bunch of stuff out now. But tell everybody what we can look forward to from G-Blakk in the future.
I always work on more than one project at a time. So I'm working on the soundtrack volume 2 right now, which is looking like it's going to be the longest album I've ever made. It's at this point already it's 50% longer than any of my other albums have
Really?
ever been. Yeah, for sure.
Wow.
So I'm working on that, and then me and 88 Keys got the project that we're working on together.
Ooh, shout out to 88 Keys.
Yeah, for sure.
Shout out.
Yeah, that's
Woo!
OG big homie. But I got some other things outside of music I'm doing also, but on the music side, those are the two I'm working on right now.
Nice. Well, bro, like I'm really happy that you came here today and talked to me. This has been awesome. Dude, I'm your friend. I'm a fan of yours, and everything that you put out is just it makes me feel happy to be black. You know what I'm saying? Because it's so much richness and culture and facts and knowledge mixed in with some hard bars, man. So I want to thank you for coming. Anybody you want to shout out?
Well, man,
before we end this
shout
thing?
you out, bro. I appreciate you, man.
Stop, bro.
No, for sure. Because again, just to let you know, anytime I do an interview or podcast, whatever, and they ask me about the origin of the name, I always tell the story that exact same way. So you come up in every interview, bro. Because it's like I always want to make sure to give everybody their flowers. I never want to take credit for something that I feel like I didn't do myself. Even down to like how I say I hear the music and I don't really like come up with the words. Because I feel like I don't want to take credit for that. Like I have the ability to hear it, but I don't feel like I really made it up. So I just have to make sure to point that out because it just makes me feel corny. Like yeah, I did that shit. Like but yeah, man. Just so shout out you, man. Shout out man 88 Keys for just being the big homie and giving me an opportunity
legendary
to put my music on a level that I never would have thought that.
That's
I have the
fucking
ability to
legendary,
yeah,
bro.
For sure, bro. Like, and the crazy part is, bro is so cool. Like. Super down to earth. The very first day I met him, me and Stroke had went up there and we fucked around and went to the movies just on the Humber. And he offered to let us stay the night at his house and all this shit. Like, bro was like just super cool, man. But yeah, shout out Nardi. Shout out Nardi is actually co-executive producing Volume 2 with me. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to get a verse out of him, man. I'm working.
Nardi, man, we've had all the appetizers. We need the entree, my nigga.
Speaking of appetizers, what's up with BL, man? We need some BL on the album.
Oh my God.
What's up with Oxygen, bro?
Yo.
What's up with Oxygen, bro? Bro. We can't breathe out here.
Bro. Ladies and gentlemen, I dabble a little bit in rap, but like, I became a dad. I became a dad and life just started happening and I just whatever. But I don't know, man. I mean, shit, bro, like doing this shit here, like it's like revitalized me. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like because like I'm always like if I hear some shit in the car, I'm freestyling. You know what I'm saying? And like it's so crazy because now like Larry is like doing the same thing, and I'll be like, da 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 da, and then I'll hear, Dad, talk about SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Dad, talk about Netflix, and then like like he start kind of like rapping a little bit. So I don't know, man. I mean, seeing all these old niggas like doing their thing now, like Benny the Butcher and all them. I mean, no disrespect, whatever. But
no, we come from a generation where we thought it had an age gap or age cap, and it don't. Like you can. It seems that the older some of these artists are getting, they're actually getting better. You know what I mean? And for me, I feel like I've never really felt my age anyway, but. Like I say, this album got me ready to delete the first 9. So it's like, bro, I feel like I'm getting better too. Like the whole concept of falling off, I think, is when people run into the idea of having to portray a character. But bro, we all live life. If you have anything to talk about, then
somebody might need to hear you talking about it.
Bro, I'm telling you, and that even kind of going back into what I was saying about the direction of the music changing, and I just kind of feel like at this point, I want to make music that speaks to people's hearts and people's lives more so than trying to influence people's thoughts. And I think that that's something that is easier to relate and connect with people. You know, when it's something that's relatable. Something that we can, whether it's our kids or whatever the case may be. Like we may have different ideas on politics, but we both love our sons.
Exactly.
So it's like if you can connect with people on that level, it allows you to break down barriers so that then you can get to the other stuff. So maybe that's kind of what I'm aiming for at this point, man. But I'm just blessed to be able to be in a position to where, because our goal was always to just make music, have fun doing it,
Yep.
and be able to make money from it. The last part I'm on right now is being able to bridge the gap and be able to make it my living and be able to make money from it primarily. So, once I get to that point, man, the dream
You
is
almost
complete.
there, my nigga.
Well, for sure.
Everybody, this has been the Unknown No Name Podcast, your girlfriend, mom, and baby mom's favorite podcast. Thank you guys for listening. Thank y'all for being here. Thank you, G-Blakk.
Thank you, bro.
And you know what it is, man. We out. That was incredible, bro.
Good shit, man.
That was fucking incredible, man.